everyone. As you might have seen on my Facebook page, I'm really going to make an effort while we're all sort of at home for the foreseeable future to do some more videos for my YouTube channel. And I'm going to hopefully do a couple a week if I can find the time in my evenings, because I'm sort of working during the day. But the fact that I don't have to go into my office every day does give me a bit more time to do extra things because I'm not commuting. So I thought I'll use the time wisely and make some more videos. Someone asked me a few months back, after I demoed it on a TV demonstration, I did some foiling using the Decofoil Transfer Gel together with a Sizzix dye used as a stencil. So I thought that would be a good place to start since someone had already asked for that. But I'm writing a list and I'm hopefully going to work through all the different suggestions over the coming weeks. So anyway, tonight we're going to look at that. So what I've got for this particular technique, I thought we would make one of the new Eileen Hull. You've got the tiny books and then the tiny book case to put your little book in. And I thought the case would look lovely with some gold foil on it. So I've got my die and I've also got some of the new Sizzix media board. This works perfectly for this, and it's just the right thickness to work with these scoreboard type dies where you've got an area that scores and a blade that cuts. So you will get perfect score lines with this. Then what we're going to do is use the this is the Intricate Lace Tim Holtz die, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that from stencil film, which is going to give me a lovely stencil to put my transfer gel through. So first things first, let's bring my machine in. And let's die cut the case first. So this is a big die, which means I just need 2 cutting pads. I'm using extended cutting pads. This die actually is the size of the smaller regular cutting pads, so it will go through with those. However, because this is quite thick, when you're using the regular plates, they kind of literally just fit the die with not much overhang. So sometimes that does make it a little bit tricky to feed through because the rollers can't grip it, sort of thing, to get you going. So if you've got the longer plates, I would recommend using them anyway, even though you don't particularly need them. You'll just find it will run through easier. But if you don't have them, then of course you don't need to buy them specifically for this. So that's my case cut. I'll just get rid of those little bits. I try to get in the habit of removing those bits every time straight away, because otherwise they can get clogged up. So that's my lovely case. I'll just get that out of the way. And as you can see, the score lines have scored perfectly. I'm going to keep it flat for now though, because obviously it'll be easier to stencil onto. And then with this die, you also get this lovely little bit so you can add a closure to your case once you're done. So that's my case done. Now I need to make my stencil. I have got the fabulous, because this is a very intricate stencil, I have got the fabulous chrome, let me turn it over so you can see, the chrome precision base plate. This is for use just with the standard size Big Shot. You don't need this if you're using the Fold Away or the Big Shot Plus. Those machines have got an increased pressure compared to the standard Big Shot. So you don't need that for this for those. Sorry for the glare from the mirror. And I am also going to use the Sizzix stencil film. This is fabulous stuff. Every time we take it on Create and Craft, it sells out within minutes. So if you haven't got any, I would definitely recommend getting some. It's kind of like a thin vellum, but the beauty of this is because it's got that smooth finish, if you want to ink through it, it's a lovely smooth finish so you don't get any drag on your blending tool. And if you're using paste through it, as I am now, it's quite thin, so you won't get any halo effect, which you sometimes do if you're using thicker card and creating a stencil from it. So what I'm going to do, place my die on top, and I need a cutting pad for the top. and then we can run that through. And because I'm using this chrome precision plate, I should only have to run this through once, and it will die cut all those little details. This is going to be very messy, so let's pop that to one side, and we'll get all those pieces out. I'll turn the camera off a second while I just poke all those pieces out, because you don't want to watch that. It's like watching paint dry. And then once I'm back, we'll move on to the next stage. Right, so that is all beautifully die cut. I think I've got all the pieces, can't see any missed bits. This is a beautiful design, I think, and it's going to look lovely foiled. So I'll bring back in my case. Now, when this is assembled, this is sort of underneath the front. So really, I want to concentrate on this, which will be the back, and then this is the front flap, because obviously this isn't going to cover all of it completely. So I'm going to, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this down to my mat using my maker's tape. And I'm going to avoid these side flaps because I can't fit all of it on. I don't want it sort of finishing halfway. I'd rather have it just not on the sides at all than just be on a bit, because it might look a bit messy. And I am kind of going for a bit of a clean look with this one. If I were going for more of a mixed media type project where I was going to maybe add other layers and things in, I wouldn't be quite so fussy. And then I'm going to do the same, because I'm really just going to keep it to this area. So we'll go across here as well, just so don't get any overlap. This will also stop it moving on my desk while I stencil. So I can make sure I've got that nicely covered. Now you might wonder why I'm taping this down, even with all these little intricate areas, instead of using an adhesive spray. The problem with using an adhesive spray when you're foiling is you quite often get a bit of residue, adhesive residue left on around the project, obviously in the areas where you haven't put the paste through, and that gives you a bit of a, you do get kind of tiny little dots of overfoiling. When I'm doing sort of more mixed media projects with different layers, that doesn't bother me and I don't mind at all. But I kind of want this to have a crisp finish to it. So it is a bit tricky to foil, to put wet paste through a stencil that isn't stuck down properly. But I'll just hold it very taut as I put the paste through, and hopefully that will just about do the trick. So that's why I'm putting so much of this tape on as well, because I don't want it to slide. And I'm going to be relying quite a bit on just holding it like so. So let's give it a go. So I've got my transfer gel. There are two types of this transfer gel now, actually. I should mention that. This is the older one. I have got the newer one as well. This is just the Decofoil Transfer Gel. The new one is called Decofoil Transfer Gel, and then it says Duo next to it. The Duo, the difference with that one is once it dries, this dries clear, and then you know it's ready to put your foil on. With this older one, to get the foil to sort of stick to the gel, you need to put it through a laminator, because it's the heat that that will make it stick. With the Duo, it works both ways. It will, you can run it through a laminator, but it also, rather than dry as this one does, just sort of clear and non-tacky, the Duo will dry with a tacky finish. So you can apply foil to that and it will just stick, the foil will stick to it. So you can just then run it through a die cutting machine to sort of give it a bit of pressure, but you don't need a laminator for the Duo. So if you haven't got a laminator, then try and get the Duo. You do get a slightly better finish, I think, using a laminator, even with the Duo one. So that's why I'm going for the laminated look today. So I'm going to peel this off carefully. And even though that wasn't properly taped down, it's done a pretty good job. There's probably the odd area where it hasn't been so neat, but it's certainly good enough, and it's certainly going to look lovely all foiled. There we go. So I need to set that aside to dry. That will take, because I haven't put it on really thick, that will probably only take about 20 minutes. And then you can see it's white at the moment. When it's dry, it's probably hard to see on camera actually because it's white, but when it's dry it will be completely clear, and that's when you can put your foil on and run it through the laminator. So I'll pop that to one side, and then when it's dry we'll come back to the next stage. So that's all clear and all dry now. I actually left it overnight, so it's well and truly dry. And I've got some gold foil. This particular one I think is Hobbycraft. Oh, it's Trimcraft. Yeah, I bought it in Hobbycraft. You can use any foil you've got, as long as it's the foil that is designed to use with heat. So all the foils that are designed for the different foiling machines, and for the mink, anything for the mink, obviously the mink is pretty much the same as a laminator really. So I'm actually going to use a really cheap, I think it was about £6 office laminator. I don't have a mink machine. I would quite like one because they do look beautiful, but I can't justify buying one when I get the same result really from my laminator. So I'll pop that on there. And I have got, this is actually from, I've bought mink accessories. This carrier sheet is actually designed to work in the large mink machine. So I'll just pop the foil on top and pop it inside my carrier sheet. I'm going to run it through the laminator off camera because my laminator's behind me where the plug socket is, so I couldn't easily bring it into view. So I'll just quickly do that and then we'll see what it looks like. So that's gone through. I always like to just give it a little quick smooth over just to make sure it's all stuck nicely. And then we can peel that off and look at that beautiful foiling. Nothing beats foiling really. You know, you can get a similar effect with embossing powders. You can get a nice metallic effect, but you just don't get that shine unless it's foil. So I'm really pleased with that. And now all I need to do is to assemble this is fold all the crease lines. And this is a very simple one to put together. I tend to use my hot glue gun for this one because all you need to do is stick it just along here and here so that this bottom piece creates a little box, and then the top piece with my beautiful foiling folds over the top. And I love that foiling. It's just sort of really crisp and yeah, it looks lovely against the white. So you can see there, it's really pretty. And here you can see the finished case. I've used the matching fastening element that comes on the die to create that fastening with some foiling on to match, and it looks really pretty. I guess I need to make a little book to go in it now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I said at the beginning, I'm going to try and do some more videos over the coming weeks. So if there's anything you want to see, just drop me a message, either leave a comment here or contact me on Facebook, Instagram, any of those methods of getting hold of me. I will also put all the details of the products I've used in the description box here on YouTube if you're interested in any of the dyes or other products. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.